Hello and welcome to another Toonkind game at 12 FPS. My name is Winona, and today I'll be playing my little funky wizard, Scrambles, and I'm joined by the amazing and wonderful.
You guys keep doing that to me, don't you? Hello, everybody. My name is Whis, and I am going to be playing Selli Alamos today. She doesn't have a funky subtitle. Maybe I should get her one.
Aw, she'll earn her subtitle.
She'll learn her subtitle.
Yeah, yeah. Things sure happened the last time. These is and technically still right now because this FPS is happening literally right after the UBA and the Pokonami, the Poke, yeah, I can't even speak. Pokemon and the monkey, that FPS where they had a heck of a time and it was pure chaos.
It was pure chaos, and frankly, if Hold Person hadn't worked, oh boy, it would have been even worse.
I will say it once and I'll say it again. I am so glad that hold person worked. I don't know what would have happened.
Mm. But yes, suffice to say, if you've not listened to that FPS with me, Winona, and V-Wild, it's not recommended. Like, you don't actually have to understand what's going on necessarily, but it does add some context. And we're
Mhm.
going to be talking about stuff that was mentioned in that FPS as well, so,
Mhm.
you can manage your own spoilers, guys.
Yeah. We trust you guys to manage your own spoilers, hopefully. But yeah, we start this scene off near the river, where, if I remember correctly, and that Scribbles has like an arm around Selly as they are just walking beside the river. river.
Yeah, like, Sally is understandably a bit emotional still, but she's calm at the same time, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, so she's quite happy to just be walking along with Scribbles with his arm around her.
Yes. Yeah, and Scribbles is sort of just like letting her take her time because yeah, that was a heck of a family drama that they just came out of.
It really was. And I think after walking for a little while, Sally is going to actually pipe up, and she's not going to look up at Scribbles. She's just going to keep looking straight ahead, but she's just going to very quietly say, "I'm I'm sorry, Scribbles, for all of that."
You don't need to be sorry about anything. I very much know family drama, and I know that it can be very hard.
I still feel as though I need to apologize. Didn't I didn't tell you what my relationship with him was when we left. Why I was so worried.
Yeah, though I can now see why, though that does make me want to ask a very serious question. As he like stops and like looks at her directly, your father, he didn't do any did he do anything to you? Mentally, physically, socially, emotionally?
She's gonna stop when Scribbles does, and she will fiddle with her fingers. And what Scribbles has come to know is her nervous tick. Um, and she takes a minute and then looks up straight up at his face. He was not a doting father. He's always been a bit of a cold person, but he was never cruel. That that was something that only Rye seemed to earn. He would always buy me whatever I wanted, and would quite happily let me have people over. but he is somewhat of a frightening person. He's very, very powerful, and I fear more for others than for myself.
Scribble shakes his head. You shouldn't have to be afraid of your father like that. I I care for you, Selli. I don't care really what happens to me, but if you want to get after all this, after your mission is done, if you do not want to go back there, if you don't want to stay on that island, I will help you get off, no matter what.
There's just this long moment where she's sort of processing that statement, and you don't have to roll the perception or anything because she's quite visibly blushing at that. And she continues to fiddle with her fingers. I've really liked living here for the time I've been here so far. Scribbles, you've made me feel so welcome. I don't know what I want to do. Quite honestly, I've not really. I mean, it's only been a month. A little
Scribbles
bit
nods
less.
that.
So it still feels more like some sort of holiday than having moved. I don't know. I really don't.
Scribbles looks at her. He's like, I can understand a bit, but I just want to let you know that you don't have to stay there once this is all said and done. You don't have to make the decision now. But
She nods.
I just want to make sure you're safe. Though, he sort of sighs. Even though this has been new to me too, I'm glad that you trust me. It's just sometimes hard for me to accept that.
You are very trustworthy and kind, Scribbles.
I
Never given me any reason not to trust you.
Scribbles sort of, yeah, you don't need to really roll it. Scribbles sort of freezes a little bit. It's just like I I never. He runs a hair through his head, and you can even see scratch like on his shoulder, like going up, like touching his neck, sort of like in a reassuring motion as he gives a little
Aw.
nod to Scribbles, and he's like, "I was never always this way. I would before I came here, I was a bad person. I pushed everyone away, even my own family, eventually. And I'm trying to be a better person now. I, yeah, I just, even for the short time that I've been here too, it's just a lot has happened so fast that sometimes it takes me by surprise that how many people have easily began to trust me where sometimes I don't even feel like I deserve to be even loved.
Do you want to roll an insight?
Yes, I do. Eh?
Wrong.
Oh,
That doesn't work.
no. Sorry.
robot.
No, nor is there girl 20. Oh, not 20.
Well then.
Well then.
Well. So Sally's been very politely listening to Scribbles get this off his chest, it feels like. And there is a absolute rainbow of emotions that you can pick up from her. Like, she is a Pokemani, so it can be sometimes a bit tricky to pinpoint with their emotions because they've got so little in the way of facial features. But Sally is listening to Scribbles in this, and she can't picture Scribbles as a bad person. And there is absolute disbelief at that last statement that he doesn't deserve to be loved, and she's a little taken aback by this admission. Like, she has never asked Scribbles what his deal is, anything about himself really, but she's it's not quite the same as it's not sympathy. It's not having been in that position, but it is empathy. It is understanding it. And she very, very slowly reaches a hand out and takes Scribble's hand in hers.
Scribbles is a little bit shocked and like looks at the hand, and you can see a blush just out forming in his face, and his hair is starting to turn into little heart shapes.
There is no shame in making a change, Scribbles. But if I can be cared for with the things I have let happen, then you absolutely can too.
Yeah, Scribbles is a bit taken aback by this too, but slow, he just slowly, you can feel his hand squeeze hers gently, and he gives a little
No.
nod. He's like, okay.
And she's just gonna squeeze his hand back just a little bit, and she, the bottom of her eye will curl up in a little bit of the equivalent of a smile for a Pokemani. And I'm always happy to listen if you need to get things off your chest. But you're, in turn, welcome to ask any questions of me that you want. I know I haven't been particularly forthcoming with information, but if you feel comfortable talking to me, then I will do the same for you.
Scribbles gives a little nod. Yeah. One of the main things, again, was if your father ever hurt you, and I'm glad that he didn't, but what did he do to Rai? Why was it only him?
She sighs and she turns away from Scribbles a little bit, but she has not let go of his hand. The information on the mainland about Pokemon seems rather sparse, so I'm not hugely surprised that you wouldn't know, but we come in different types. And for someone like me, I am what they call a light type. My I was born from an egg with a white and pink shell. And when Rai was born, he came from an egg with a black and grey shell. He's a dark type, and Father does not like dark types at all. And the only reason why Rai, well, probably why the only reason why he's alive is because Father promised me a sibling, and I didn't know what the color of his egg meant, but Father did. And I was so excited, and he kept Rai for my sake.
Scribble is first is gonna ask about the egg part later. He's like, wait, what? Egg? But he gives a little nod at the father's promise. He's just like, I see. What did your mother think of all this?
Oh, we don't, strictly speaking, have one.
Oh?
She rubs the back of her head a little bit. It's complicated. Um, I I didn't actually show it to you when you visited the island, but there is a, a building there near the beach, called the Motherhood, and the role that they play on the island. They are all servants of Unbekant, but it is their duty to allow families who might otherwise not be able to have children to have children. So, people like my father, who has no interest in taking a partner of any kind, could have children.
I see. But
I, I
if your
never
father.
asked him why he wanted children, but I wouldn't be here if he didn't.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I say. So there are. Wait, so Pokemon can usually have children if they have a partner, but this motherhood allows for a single person to have it. That's interesting. Should I ask why? Like, I feel this is awkward, but eggs?
She she nods. Yes, we come from eggs. And she holds her hands out to an approximate of the size, and I cannot for the life of me remember off the top of my head what size it is. But she'll gesture with both hands. She'll drop Scribble's hand and gesture with both hands. They're about this big, and they we normally stay in our eggs when they appear for a month maybe before we hatch, and the shell comes in all sorts of different colors.
Huh. I'm guessing that's just because. So this is more of a. This is directly a Pokemon. Well, sorry. It's a like he's heard of like tunes having eggs and stuff. It's usually like bird tunes, lizard tunes. But he's just like
Yeah.
she looks like none of those things. It's just a this is sort of just interesting in learning about their culture and stuff.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Just egg. I see.
Anyway, if out of character, if anyone knows the reason behind that, you get a cookie. Oh dear. But yep, she does not consider this to be strange at all. She does know a bit better than Rye. Rye actually only up until recently thought that all tunes came from eggs, but
Yeah.
she knows a little bit better than that.
Yeah. That's still very interesting and unique quirk to Pokonai. Hey, I mean, I learned something today. He chuckles, trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
She nods. Yes, it it's always It's always been the way things were. Father actually still has the shell of my egg at home.
Is that a cultural thing?
And she nods a little bit. Uh, yes, typically. They reassemble the shell and seal it with resin. It becomes a little bit of a display piece. I don't know whether or not he kept Rye's shell, but he certainly has mine.
Hmm.
Don't don't know that he has his own though. If he does, I've never seen it.
Hmm. I see. Interesting. As he sort of like takes her hand again in his hand, he's like, maybe you tell me a little bit more about Pokemon culture, since, well, I don't know much about it at all, as we maybe continue to walk a little bit?
Mm.
Like, do you have any festivals? I mean, I know it's Halloween time for us, but are there any culturally significant celebrations on your island?
Oh, there are a few. We celebrate Animus, obviously, and there are several different holy days throughout the calendar for different celebrations for Ambicant. Usually, though, those would be things like particular. What's a good word? Not an open day because the library is always open, but uh, a theme, I suppose, where we're encouraged to read. We're recommended particular genres or subjects throughout the year that we have a lot of information on. And we also have little markets and fairs, but they're not necessarily the overall town's culture, I suppose. They're run by individuals. I know that the gentleman that runs the inn quite regularly likes to have a big food market, and there'll be stalls all over the town square where everyone can sell different foods that they've made and things along those lines. But for your general regular calendar, most of it revolves around the library.
I see. I was wondering if, say, it's interesting to say you also celebrate Animus. Say, I was just maybe gonna ask, maybe you celebrate Animus, but I didn't know.
Oh yes, we definitely celebrate Animus. Um, it's a fun it's a fun holiday. I will admit.
I agree. Though I'm curious, have you ever seen snow? Because that does happen here in Toontown. It's gonna get a lot colder.
She pauses and she does actually rub at her opposite arm a little bit. Uh, not not in real life. It's always warm at home, and I had noticed it getting cold, but no, not in. I've seen pictures in some of the books, but nothing more than that. It doesn't snow on Jotos.
Scribbles does give a little smile. Well, you'll see it here soon now. It won't be in a book anymore. You'll be able to get experience for yourself, though. I highly, well, I highly recommend we probably get you some winter clothing, cause trust me, that dress won't, it won't make it through the winter.
She looks down and then nods. Like she does have a coat, but it's not a winter coat. It's like at best an early autumn,
Yeah.
early fall kind of coat.
Mhm.
And she's not even wearing it right now because it didn't occur to her to put it on.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, she nods a lot at that. I had noticed that my outfits were um possibly not acceptable for the weather, but I didn't really think it would get colder than this.
That's understandable when you lived on a tropical island your whole life. Don't get to experience any of the other seasons. Though I'm really glad. Though I'm sort of glad that you'll be able to spend Animus here. Hopefully, I'm not very. I mean, I would like for you to stay for Animus. I mean, I was even thinking maybe get some of the friends together, and maybe my family tradition was we always had a feast. Everyone bring a little bit of something to it, and it's just a nice gathering.
Her eyes gone a little bit sparkly. And you're welcome to roll another insight on her if you like.
All right. 12.
12. That's not as good as the nat 20 familiar, but that's fine.
Unfortunately.
She's she really likes the idea of a feast, but you get a little bit of a hint of spending Animus with Scribbles sounds very attractive.
Aww. And Scribble sprouts as he picks up his hat. Yeah, and there's other activities we could do too. There's ice skating. There's usually all the parks usually have like animus lights set up in the wintertime. It just looks so beautiful.
Oh, wow! I've never seen anything like that before. It sounds wonderful.
It is. I mean, it's impressive in UPA, but I heard Toontown goes all out on Animus as they do also for Halloween. And I'm guessing as he says that you see like a line of Halloween stuff along long
Yeah,
decorated.
yeah. Sally's going to just sort of very pointedly look at it. Like she's heard of it insofar as like she's read a few books about the holiday, but she just sort of looks at it and goes, yes, I have noticed the enthusiasm for that, but that's not one we actually celebrate in Alamos Town, so I'm not particularly familiar.
I'll be honest, it's not one of my favorite holidays. It's for a really stupid reason, and I'm not gonna roll for Scratch because Scratch knows exactly what he's talking about. So I'm just gonna go straight to a con, and go straight to a wisdom save with disadvantage.
Scribbles, my beloved.
Yeah, the minute like Scribbles says that, you hear a yelp as he jumps 15 feet in the air because he uses the jump spell. As Scratch, you can see it laughs behind him as he's scared. Like you couldn't hear it because he did Scratch did it telepathically, but he basically said "boo" right, right behind Scribbles. Scratch! And as he like undid like total mess on the ground, hair standing straight up now. You know I do not do well with scaring. Oh jeez, as he face palms himself, as he's even blushed. His face is red because he's embarrassed that he did that in front of Selli.
I think initially Sally was just very stiff, just wait, what did I miss? And then once Scribble starts going off and Scratch, she's going to very very politely give a bit of a giggle. And where is Scratch at the minute?
Scratch is just floating right beside Selli.
Okay, fair enough. Um, while she knows that technically she shouldn't be able to touch Scratch, she's going to try and just like, even if it just goes through, mime patting him.
Yeah, you could say you can roll percentile if you want.
Yeah, I do in fact want to roll a percentile.
No,
75?
almost, but not
Almost.
quite.
That's okay. She's not expecting to be able to do it. So she'll just go up and like pat the air where Scratch is. You really shouldn't tease him so.
Uh, Scribbles is just on the ground, face in the hands. He's so embarrassed. And Scratch signs. Scribbles is a bit jumpy. It's the reason why he doesn't like going out on Halloween.
Fair enough. Oh, bless. And Selly's just gonna trot over so she's close to Scribbles and offer her hands to help him up.
Like, he's still blushy, but he still takes the hand help help him get him up. Yeah. Like Scratch said, the reason why I don't go on Halloween, I can appreciate the spookiness and the decor and everything, but when it actually comes to the spooking time, I'd rather stay inside and not be an embarrassment to myself.
Well, if it helps, I can't imagine I'd be any better.
Scribble like blushes but smiles at that.
And when once Scribbles is back up on his feet, she is going to, because she's still holding both of his hands, she's just going to give them a little bit of a squeeze before she lets go.
Scribble's hair turns back into some heart shapes where he then sort of, let's see if he notices it. Let's do a perception check on himself. Because he wasn't really he didn't really notice before because he was too much in the moment, but let's see if he notices now.
Yeah.
He notices it and he quickly just like uses his other hand to like comb down his his hair to his normal swirls.
Oh,
As
dear,
Scratch
dear,
gives
like,
a shitting
nope.
well, Scratch makes a shitting eating grin.
Oh, amazing. Oh dear.
Yeah. Though also since it's an 18, it did so well. Scribbles also like looks over and sees like a little cart that sells hot drinks. He's like, hey, why don't we get something to drink?
I'm gonna roll a quick insight to see if Selly can pick up that's a oh hey look a distraction.
Yes.
What's your insight, Selly? Oh, that's right. You've got a 12. 12. I reckon she probably twigs a little bit that he's trying to change the subject, but not
Yeah.
completely as to why.
Yeah, exactly.
And she'll follow his line of sight over to the cart and nod. That sounds good. It has gotten a bit chilly.
Mhm. Yeah. As they go over to the cart, you see there's like a little menu beside it that has like hot apple cider, hot chocolate, spice like different spiced teas and everything. A good list of different beverages.
Sally's gonna look over the menu and then turn and look at Scribbles. What were you going to get?
Uh, it's sort of traditional this time of year to get a hot apple cider.
And she brightens a little bit. I've not tried it before. I can I
Yeah.
get that?
Yeah, let me get you some. As he then orders the cider and the tune there smiles and makes the drink and hands it over to Scribbles as he then hands her drink over to her.
She's doing an itty bitty little bounce, which you reckon that it's something that she and Rye actually share, because if I remember correctly, Rye did a lot of bouncing when
Yes.
he and Scribbles first met.
Oh yes.
But hers is definitely more dignified, but it is just a little excited little bounce, and she accepts the cup in both hands.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
now
it's
heart
very
shapes are gonna
warm.
form in Scribbles' hair again.
Oh dear. But she accepts the drink in both hands, and she just sort of holds it to her chest a little bit. And you don't have to roll insight on her or anything, because you're just sort of getting the, ooh, warm. Ooh, this is warm, and it smells good. Ooh,
Yes.
nice. Which may or may not be what I do with a warm drink.
I mean, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Nice. Handshakes on that.
Yep, absolutely. Like a hot water bottle, except delicious.
Exactly.
Oh dear. So Sally's just gonna hold on to this drink for a little bit and then take a tentative little sip. I'm assuming this is the non-alcoholic
Yeah, this
version
is
of.
the
Yeah.
non-alcoholic version.
I always have to check.
Yeah.
It's got alcohol in it if it's called cider over here. There's your Australian fun fact for the
Yeah.
day.
And here in America, whenever you say hot cider, especially this time of year, you mean just non-alcoholic version.
Mm, mm,
Fun
mm.
fact for America.
Oh dear, oh dear. Um, yeah. So she's going to sip at her hot cider, and she does seem to like it quite a lot actually, and the very tentative little sips are turning into slightly more enthusiastic sips, but she's still trying to be really prim and proper about it.
Scribbles sort of chuckles at that, as like he's just sipping casually. Do you like it?
Uh, yes, I do. It's very warm and it's quite sweet actually.
Mm, Scribbles nods. Yeah, it's a very good drink for this time of year. A lot say, like I said, it's one of the traditional drinks, right next to hot chocolate or pumpkin spice lattes. Honestly, pumpkin spice is everywhere. And I'm guessing there's like a few other stalls with like selling pumpkin spice chocolates and pumpkin spice other like tea, and there's like so much pumpkin spice.
Mm. I'm actually gonna roll a quick history for Sally actually because Lynn's magic smells like pumpkin spice, and I'm going to see
Mhm.
whether or not she remembers that because she did cast spells in her presence.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
yes, in fact, she may not have twigged that it was Lynn's magic making that smell, but
Mhm.
she'll just nod and go, "Yes, there was some of that smell back at where Rai lives with his new family."
Yeah, I think I noticed it too. They might have. I say, Scribbles like doesn't never hurt. I say, I know they did. She did the. Now I'm gonna make a history check. He's like, does he notice that the magic in particular, or was the house? Because
Mm,
he doesn't know Lynn that well. So let's see if he clocks it actually came from her magic. No,
probs not. Yeah.
yeah, I say, well, I'm not. I say, I'm not surprised. A lot of houses usually people like put candles or air fresheners up to make it smell like that.
Hmm. It's not a bad smell, but it's not the one I would choose.
It's very much a different smell for sure. I prefer more fruitier scents in my taste.
Any particular fruits?
Hmm. I'm always one for apple. I've always loved apple as a general scent. Though
She
I
looks very pointedly at her cup, but then looks back up and doesn't say anything.
yeah, say he's a bit biased. He's not gonna judge that. He's not gonna lie about that. He's a bit biased. He does like his apples.
Mm.
Though I do like peaches. Peaches are very nice too.
Ooh, oh, peaches. Yes, they're quite nice. There was, I think, maybe one or two peach trees at home. We we didn't. We shipped in some produce, but most everything else was produced there.
I see. What's your favorite sort of fruit?
Oh, I like strawberries and blackberries. There was a well for a while there was a rather large blackberry bush at the rear of our property.
Nice. I say those are really. I say I know that. I say we say. Do you like making jams? Or I mean, do you like strawberry or blackberry jam?
Oh, I do like jam, but I you've seen me try and cook Scribbles. I couldn't make it myself.
Scribble sort of blush. Yeah, I was just say you saw in my little. You probably saw in my freezers. I do know how to make those jams. So if you preferred one over the other, I can definitely make more the next time I make a batch.
Do you want to roll another insight?
Yes. Dirty 20. Yes, nat 20.
Nat 20, dang. Man, Scribbles is so good at reading Selli. He rolls nat 20s on insights on her all the damn time.
I
That's two
know.
already. So she doesn't say anything. But the way that she sort of holds her cup a little bit closer to her chest and the way that her eye curls up, she would like that. She would like that very, very much. And she's also really flattered that Scribbles would go out of his way to make jam for her in the flavor that she likes. She's blushing and smiling, and she doesn't have any words right now. But yes, she
Oh
would
my.
indeed love jam.
Scribbles just smiles on his face. I think his hair is full into hearts right now. It would be no say it'd be definitely no trouble at all. I'd be happy to do that. Um, I mean, I don't think I've ever really asked, but do you have any particular dishes that you like different foods?
Oh well, she sort of picks at the lid of her cider cup because she can't fiddle with her fingers with stuff in her hands.
Mhm.
Um, my the staff at home would always make sure to have lavender biscuits for me. They've been my favourite since I was very small. They're just a simple sugar cookie, but they've got dried lavender head in them. They're rather nice.
Oh, that's really say nice. Yeah, lavender is a very good. I say I'm not very sure if I can make biscuits. I'm not that good with pastries, but I can definitely maybe I still remember that when I first met you, you were tending a garden. Do you like gardening?
And I'm just gonna roll off that nat 20 because it's a
Mhm.
nat 20. Um, her mood does deflate a little bit at that question, and she continues to pick at the lid of her cup. It's complicated, actually. The the garden beds around the spire, they were new, and, and I wanted them to thrive, but I have no particular talent for it.
Oh, I was just curious. I was just gonna say maybe I know that Marigold really likes gardening and flowers, so I was thinking, I don't know, we not very. I don't know if lavender is exactly spice or anything, but maybe we can try having some fresh lavender in the apartment.
She is going to look up at him at that, and she still seems a little bit down, but she does smile. Uh, lavender can get quite large. It's more of a bush than than a herb.
I see. I'm not very good with plants. I I only know like the basics of flowers like roses and tulips and lilies and stuff. I don't I know there's like smaller herbs, but not an expert by any stretch of a mile.
And she nods. I'm much the same. I did a lot of reading on the subject, but when it comes to plants, that was Rye's aptitude more than mine.
I see. Out of curiosity, do you have any particular favorite flower?
She's gonna tilt her head to one side and look off into the sort of the distance as she thinks about it for a second. Um, we had a lot of tropical flowers at home, like hydrangeas were quite beautiful, but there are some that I've always wanted to see them in real life, but they would never grow there. I think it's called a lily of the valley. They're shaped like little bells. They're quite beautiful.
I see. I've heard of has he heard of Lily of the Valleys? He may have. It's sort of a common flower.
Yeah, it's fairly common, or you could roll a nature for it if you really felt like
It's sort of common. It's like he probably
it.
say it's pretty common. Yeah. Oh yeah, Lily of the Valleys. I've heard say yeah. I don't think they would have fit in your climate, but they are very beautiful.
And she's still sort of pondering it, um, but she nods. Like she's read about those in books. She likes books. She likes flowers. She likes books about flowers.
Yeah, Scribbles like, he's like, oh, so he doesn't know how to like, respond right now because he recovered a little bit from the flower thing, but at the same time it's just like, oh shoot, what to talk about next?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll Selli in insight. Dang it, Selli, you're
Dang it.
oblivious as heck today.
Oh my
I mean, she's
gosh.
not because that's an 11. That's not
Yeah.
completely oblivious. But like she's not getting the nuance of why Scribbles might be asking this. So after a moment, she's just gonna sort of look back at him and smile and say, "What about you? Do you have any favorites?"
Oh. I've always thought roses were pretty, even though that may sound a little cliche. Though I like hydrangeas also.
Oh, yes, those are nice as well. The roses are quite versatile.
Yeah.
Did you know that you could eat them?
I sort of know. I know there's like rose teas and everything.
She nods keenly. There was at one of the I mentioned before about the food markets. There was some like my lavender biscuits. There were biscuits with dried rose petals in instead of lavender. Those were all right, but I still prefer the flavor of the lavender better than the rose. But they came in all sorts of colors. There was white ones and pink ones and red ones and yellow ones.
Yeah. I even I don't know much about like the flowerology as he like does the air quotations. I know
Mm.
that flowers have meanings. I don't know what the heck most meanings are.
So he's gonna think about it for a second. No, I don't either. But and she brightens a little bit. Surely there's a book on the subject we could find.
Squirrel's file. Yeah, I would like that. Speaking of books, do you have a particular genre that you like?
She is going very thoughtful again. I my deity being who he is, I would read anything, any book you put in front of me. I would at least read it through. But I always enjoyed. You might find it's a bit silly, actually. The kinds of stories where the hero goes off to save the day and then comes back victorious, and it's probably a little bit childish, really. And
No,
and
no.
she's blushing. She's a little bit embarrassed.
Scribble smiles. I don't find it. I don't say you shouldn't find embarrassment at all. There's comfort in tales like that. I definitely. you're gonna you're gonna probably make fun of me a little bit, but I do like trashy romance novels. And he has a big blush.
And she's gonna look up and I don't think any book could possibly be trashy.
uh, they're all predictable and stuff. Like, it's so simple in plot, but I don't know. I always liked them.
Mm, she smiles. There's comfort in the familiar. Isn't that what you just said?
Scribbles laugh. Yeah, it is what I just said.
And she's just gonna lean into him a little bit, just with her shoulder. If
Scribbles,
I'm not allowed to be embarrassed about what I like to read, then you aren't either.
Scribbles smiles and wraps an arm around her. He's like, "All right, whatever you say." And
Mm,
say,
I'm just picturing Scratch in the background.
Yeah, Scratch is just like looking at the camera, and he's just like points a thumb to. He's like, get a load of these two.
The camera angle changes and it's some random tune there, and they're like, "Do I know you?"
Exactly.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
So I'm
Oh
gonna make a
heck.
quick roll. I'm gonna make a quick roll for Scratch. Yes. Say Scratch. Scratch sees something and he gives a little grin to himself as he floats over to what looks to be a little market sort of area. With there's like
Mhm.
some soft music playing from a band, and say there's similar stalls to like what Silly has described, but more fallish in taste. As
Mhm.
Scribbles then sort of freezes for a second because Scratch sort of takes over for a second. He's just like, look at this, because Scratch can say Scribbles can see through Scratch's eyes, so he for the quick. So it was like very quick sort of perception change, and he was not ready for it for a second, so he immediately
Oh
had to stop.
god.
So he's like,
Oh, that would be so jarring. It's just like, oh gosh, what am I looking at?
exactly. It's and Scribble's just like, Scratch, you don't do that unless I as he like shakes his head a little bit, but he does look over to where Scratch is and pointing towards the market area. Is just like, I see it. Ugh.
Sally's just sort of tilted her head to one side and looking at Scribbles and then leaning to look at Scratch, going, "What did he do now?" She's still trying to figure out all the intricacies of this little dust bunny.
He is indeed a little dust bunny. Oh my gosh, you described Scratch perfectly in one sentence. Sorry. Scratch and I have a unique ability where I can see through his eyes. And there is times where he can pull me in to see what he sees, which can be nice for when you're looking for traps or anything, but when you're on a casual stroll, it's very jarring when you're not expecting it.
She blinks and then looks back over at Scratch and then nods. I can understand why that's quite jarring. I I am fascinated by that little friend of yours. You said back at the Stagehands Requiem that no one can touch him except you. I know I did try, but I just passed through him.
Yeah,
Are all awakened spellbooks like that?
yeah. Like I said, usually when you manifest their mind, that's what the ability is scientifically called. It's just a projection. You can't really touch the projection at all. Like you see now with Scratch, and Scratch just waves his little hand, still trying to motion him over to the market.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
And
it's just very jarring that a Lokai, out of all things, was able to, well, touch him.
yes, I don't really know anything about Genius Loci. Um, I've not. Well, I'm sure I've read a book on them at some stage, but I can't recall. But
Scribbles nods. I've read a
they
few.
they are rather powerful magic creatures, I suppose.
Yeah, I've definitely read a few books because one of my professors, if I remember correctly, had at least knew of a genius loci, and it always made me like wonder more about the subject. So I know the basics, but I never heard of them doing anything like what Nettle did to Scratch. But like you also said, they're very powerful beings of magic, and maybe the magic touched them. I Maybe it's because they're partially made of magic. I don't know. And
She gives a little shrug. It's not my area of expertise. I'm sorry.
it's all right. Though Scratch did have a point. That market does look very nice. Do you want to go over there?
Yes, that could be fun.
Yeah. And Scribbles grabs her hand and leads her over there. And Scratchly when they finally caught up, he's just like, finally, in that sort of motion.
Oh dear, oh dear. And Selly doesn't have the color changing or even the Grolix thing that Rye can do now, but she's just sort of giving off this little cheerful aura of I am happy. I am happy. I'm not quite visibly glowing, but it's close.
Oh, yeah, and definitely Scribbles is very happy right now that she's happy. And there's the market's very nice. Like I said, there's a little band playing on a stage, and you can see some people dancing. While there's other people walking around the different stalls, seeing the homegrown or homemade things that are in the stalls.
Mm. And Sally is delighted because it's so familiar. Like, sure, the actual stuff that's on the stalls is very different, but
Mhm.
having these little tables set up and people selling stuff, it's very familiar, and she's she's glad that there are things on the mainland that they do at home as well. So it's great.
Yeah.
And you can actually roll an insight on her if you want.
All right. I
13.
will only 13, but at the same time, he's already got two nat 20s in this FPS.
Yeah, I think you got like 2 of them in the last FPS too. But yeah, so as you're sort of looking around the market, she is very, very happy. But you do get a twinge of something with a 13. Something, it's maybe confused, I suppose, and it's not a culture shock confused.
Hmm? Are you looking for something in particular, Sally? As he sort of looks around.
And she jolts a little bit and looks up at him. Uh, no, everything here is so different to what I'm used to seeing on stalls like this. There's nothing I'm hoping for in particular.
Uh, I mean, I could see that, especially this time of year. There is definitely more of a Halloweeny fall theme to these markets, or at least usually,
Mm.
especially now that we're getting very close to Halloween.
And she's gonna just sort of reach down to the stall that they happen to be standing in front of, and it's about the size of a tennis ball, but it's a needle felted little pumpkin with a little jack o' lantern face on it.
Yes. Yeah, they like.
And
Sorry, you go.
oh, she was just gonna like just turn it over in her hand a little bit because she's still holding onto her cup in the other hand.
Mhm.
Um, and like it's a super adorable. Like it's not supposed to be scary. It's just it's a cute jack o' lantern,
Yes.
and she's just sort of smiling at it, and she's but she you can still see that just that tiny little hint of confused, but
Hmm.
it's like at the back of her mind kind of thing.
That does look really cute. Say, be a nice little decoration around the apartment, or a little thing to snuggle with.
It might be a little bit too small for that, but do you think Marigold would like it?
I think she would love it.
And she's gonna smile, and then she's gonna reach into her hammer space. Yes, no
Yes.
octopus today.
Mhm.
Um, she's gonna reach into her dress, and she's gonna pull out a little purse, which is in the shape of a ladybug.
Aww.
Um, and she's gonna fish out some coins to buy this little pumpkin.
Scribbles then looks around the stall. Is like, do you see anything that you like?
And she's gonna look around, and she does like a lot of these little needle felted knickknacks and stuff. Um, but I'm trying to think of what else there would be.
There probably be like different like I usually see like there's different variations of like you see like there's some pottery, others there like I sort of imagine this to sort of be a little not only a fall festival but also sort of maybe like a little art festival. So you sort of see different sorts of like arts and crafts. So you do have the needle felting, but you do see some jewelry, you do see some pottery with with like cups, plates, and everything. So you see some glass work in the corner where there's like different bowls and everything and vases.
Oh yeah. Yep. All right, cool. In that case, Sally's going to be looking around, and she's going to look at this stall that's got a whole bunch of different pieces of ceramic on it, and there's a toon standing um, behind this stall with a blue coat. They're a pig. They're a pink pig, standing probably at around 3 foot even. And she trots over to that stall and is looking at these mugs and jugs and plates and bowls and stuff. And she picks up this cup it's painted in or it's glazed in your nice Halloweeny orange and black, but like it's orange and it's got black vines and stuff all over it.
Nice.
And so it kind of looks like ivy on black ivy on orange. And she picks it up and she looks at it, and then she looks down at the table, and then she holds it up to see there words to show Scribbles, and there's two, and they're a match set. See.
Oh, yeah, it is a match set. Like very lovely. And he turns towards the big toon. I'll have this little set. As
And
he's say, let's
Nick's
see.
gonna nod. She doesn't have a voice yet, so you're just
Yeah,
gonna have to
let's see if he can get out his money. Yeah, Scribbles pulls out his wallet and pays for the ceramic glass, the cups.
Yep. And yeah, the pig toon will wrap them in like tissue paper and put them both into a paper bag and hold it out and be very, thank you very much for your custom kind of thing. And just for the fun of it, roll a history.
All right, I will roll a history. Dang, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Well, you're absolutely going to get it for a dirty 20. I don't have a voice for this toon, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. The way that this pig toon talks is
Fair
very
enough.
similar to the way that Lynn talks.
Nice. Love it. I love it.
Stagehands are everywhere, babe.
Stagehands are everywhere. Let's say, thank you. And I hope you have a nice day. As he like takes the bag.
And Selli has not noticed. Selli is still enjoying the market, and she's got her little pumpkin needle felt plush that she's gonna give to Marigold later.
Yeah, and Scribbles are like for a brief second, it's just like, oh god, I hope this doesn't get back to Lynn. He's able to dodge one bullet. He does not know what kind of chaos would happen if he find out they're here and they're doing these sort of stuff.
I mean, she'll find out eventually, surely.
She will find out eventually, but we'll see.
Oh dear.
The Scratch as Selli is looking around, Scratch pulls at his collar. He's like, "Yeah, Scratch, what's up?" And the Scratch points to the people dancing at the music, and Scribble's like, "No, we're not doing that." And Scratch gives him a deadpan look, and then floats over to Selli. And Scribble's like, "No, don't." And Scratch is like, Scratch goes over to Selli and points over to the dancing.
And Scratch, you little shit! I love you so much.
And so you can sort of see like Scribbles like wandering. It's like no.
Oh boy. Sally's gonna to look at the dance floor where Scratch is pointing, and she's going to brighten a little bit. Oh, I didn't realize dancing was a Halloween thing as well. That looks like fun.
I mean, it's not exactly a Halloween thing, but a lot of these festivals or like little places, especially when they're sort of art inclined like this, usually have bands, and of course people would love to dance. I didn't think, yeah, we could dance if you want.
Suffer.
Scratch is a little shit at times, and he knows, but it's just like sometimes you just gotta pull them in.
Oh dear. Sally is going to smile, and she's going to put her new pumpkin doohickey and her drink just straight into her hammer space, because that's how hammer space works.
Yeah, exactly. You put all your stuff in your
And
hammer space.
yep, nothing ever spills in there.
Yep.
Yeah, she's going to put her things into her hammer space, and then she's going to turn to Scribbles, and it's been a little while since I danced, but I do enjoy it. Do you dance?
I dance a little bit, but I'm nothing professional or anything. And he rubs the back of his neck.
And Selly is, you don't have to roll an insight on her. Selly is just standing there expectantly, blushing. She's blushing a lot.
Yeah, so Scribble, he's blushing a lot. These dorks.
These dogs. And she's just gonna hold out a hand in offer. It's like, well, I'm not very good either, so we can be bad at it together.
Yeah, we could be bad at it together as he takes her hand and. Do we want to try to roll performance and see how bad
Yes.
this is?
Yes, we do. I mean, Sally's performance isn't too bad, but we'll see what happens. Hey.
Scribbles is a straight D20.
Oh, good. Lol.
Oh my gosh. This is perfect.
Oh my goodness, that's perfect. Oh,
Oh, yes.
Scribbles got a 4 and Sally got an 18. Oh dear. Oh dear. So I feel as though like Scribbles is way too self-conscious.
Yeah, he is.
He's like looking at his feet and oh god, I'm gonna make a fool of myself in front of the girl I like. Oh god.
Yeah, exactly.
And Selly doesn't really get the whole like I feel as though because it's an autumn festival sort of thing.
Mhm.
It strikes me as more like the more free flowing country line dancing kind of, not line dancing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know that kind of
Yeah, I get that.
vibe.
Mhm.
Rather than
Ballroom.
more formal ballroom, which is what she's used to. So what she's just sort of doing it. She's doing her best, but she's certainly not fitting in with the way that she dances.
Yeah. Ugh.
What happens when you take nobility out of their comfort zone?
Yeah. Yeah, Scribble is just like, sorry. I'm not the best at this. It's just like he's still so self-conscious as he's trying to very much try not to make a fool of himself.
Mm. And like, because he's taller than her, so she's kind of half expecting him to lead. But I
Yeah,
think
and he's trying to lead. I'm guessing he's trying to lead so bad that he's failing at it spectacularly.
yeah, and I'm gonna say after a little while, like he's just sort of giggling. And why don't you let me lead? I'm not used to it, but we can try. And she's gonna slow them right down and just very, very gently just help Scribbles dance.
Yeah, and let's just say that's the help action. So
Yeah.
let's see what another.
It's better.
It's slight. Well, technically it's with advantage. So he goes one more time. There we go.
Hey, there we go. Suddenly he's an expert at ballroom.
Yeah. He's more comfortable at ballroom than whatever he was trying to do before.
Splendid. Oh dear. I feel like that's a really good place to sort of leave them. Just sort of getting into the groove and having a good old dance time in the middle of the square.
I do want to do one more thing though,
I
as
do.
I think you know what I'm gonna do. God,
Do it. Go.
yeah, as the music stops, and everyone starts dispersing, as you know, it's getting a little bit late, so
Mm.
things are starting to pack up a little bit, and Scribbles is a little bit more relaxed that he did make that much of a he made himself a little bit of a fool on the dance floor, but he was able to recover, thank God.
Mm.
But as they start walking, he notices a jewelry stand where he catches the eye of a piece of jewelry, which is sort of two pieces of jewelry, as he goes over there, and I'll upload the picture. And his eye catches a pair of necklaces that are connected together. One is a silver moon. Both of them are pendants, but they're intertwined. Where one's a silver moon with a moonstone, and the other's partial of a sun with a sunstone in it.
No. No.
And Scribbles looks at that. He's just like, hey, look at that. That looks really nice. Um, he, he's very self conscious about this
Uh,
as he sort of picks up the necklace and shows it to her. Uh,
oh, that's so sweet.
yeah, two halves of a whole. Uh, and he sort of takes the sun part of it out and sort of hands it to her. It's like, do you maybe want this half?
I'm not gonna make you roll an insight for it, but because her entire form is just one big blush right now. She's just yes, just this very small little yes, just blushing.
Scribbles, like, he's sort of relieved that she said yes and sort of yes, as he quickly pays for the necklaces, and like he's not very sure how to do this, so he's just gonna do it the old-fashioned way because technically Hokabani do not have a neck, so he's still
Mm,
gonna like wrap the sun part of the necklace around her neck as a normal tune you
yep,
usually would, and like hooks it on for
yep.
her, as he does the same with the moon portion, and he's just like he sort of takes a big breath as Scratch again sort of like does the motion of "You can do it, buddy. You can do it." And Scribbles is just like, "I know it's only been a month, but I care for you. I care, care. Oh no, that sounds stupid. I I don't know if you would be interested. I mean, not interested, but he just like hands it in the face, just like trying so hard. I like you, and I maybe was thinking if you would be up for it, maybe we could try dating.
Oh boy. Again, you don't have to roll insight or anything. She's got both hands over where her mouth would be if she had a mouth. And her eye is round and sparkly, and she is blushing like nobody's business, and she is at a loss for words, and so all she does is just give this little nod.
Scribbles gives a sigh of like he accidentally gives a giant sigh of relief. He's like, "Oh, thank the gods." I mean, no, I mean, I'm very happy. I am very happy that you said yes. It's just like, oh, that took a lot of it. I mean, no, I was looking like a fool of myself again. Oh, the gods.
And she's gonna actually that's just gonna make her giggle a little bit, and she'll step really really close and just lean into him. She's got no words right now, but she's whoa Discord. What are you doing? Oh gosh.
I say, are you alright?
Yep. Discord just had this really weird optical glitch, and I panicked for a second there. Okay, whoa. All right.
Yeah, I say, you seem fine for right now for at least recording, so good.
Okay, well that's good. Lost my train of thought. Yeah. So she just sort of leans into him, and yeah. She's just got this. Actually, roll perception real quick.
Alright, I will.
Yep, 11 will do it.
Okay.
Where before she had that I am glowing, but not literally.
Mhm.
She's glowing ever so slightly.
Scribbles is sort of sparkly at that. He's like, oh my, he thinks that's amazing as he wraps his arm around her and just like pulls her close. He's very happy too. And he starts walking her back home.
I think she's just gonna be sort of a blushing mess for a bit.
Yeah,
So she's gonna be no words, only emotions.
yeah, stay here. Scribbles' hair is full of hearts. It's like he is full of emotions too. So happy that she said yes. And Scratch is like looking at the camera and giving a thumbs up and is like, "We did it, guys."
Oh man, I love them both so much.
Yes. I love them both so much too.
My cheeks hurt from grinning.
I
Holy
know.
dooly. Oh. Well, Selli has a boyfriend now.
Yes, and Scribbles has a girlfriend.
Amazing. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, thank you, Winona. That was grand.
Thank you, Whis. That was amazing. I loved it.
Oh, bless their cotton socks. That's
Indeed.
great.
Mhm.
Oh dear. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop my recording. Thank you again for playing with me.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for listening. This has been fun.
It has been a lot of fun. Thank you for playing with me, and thank you for the audience listening in, whether it be right now, live, or in the future. All right. Bye.
Bye.